Hey everybody, Daniel Ramsey here. I've got the dancing Caroline Nall here, and she's entertaining you and me at the same time, so I'm super excited. But Caroline's an interesting story. They actually are a charity in the real estate space, and I'm impressed not only with what they do, but how they serve our industry. So I'm super excited to have you here today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. I'm excited for our conversation.
And if you're just joining us right now, give Caroline some props for all the dancing that she was doing, like all the moving. But in the chat, just tell us where you're from and what the temperature's like right now. I'm in Sacramento, California, and it's like 98 degrees out, so it's hot. Caroline, where are you at?
I'm in Manhattan Beach, California.
Okay, so it's nice there, right?
It is beautiful. I can't complain.
It's good stuff. Okay, so let's get started. So you are the co-founder of Giveback Homes. So talk to us a little bit about what you guys do and kind of what you do in this crazy industry, you know?
It is a crazy industry. Giveback Homes started about 6 years ago. Both my partner and I, his name is Blake Andrews, we started it because we saw an opportunity to connect the real estate industry with people who were in need of safe, affordable homes. So what that looks like when we first started is we partnered with one agent. His name is Nick Schneider here in the South Bay to help build one home for a family in need in Central America. Nick was looking for a way to give back. He, was telling us and explaining to us that he writes checks all the time to different charities left and right, but he never really saw where his money was going. He never felt the impact. So he wanted to find a way to give back with real meaning and real impact and see where his donated dollars were going. Right. So Blake and I had the idea of what if, every time an agent bought or sold a home here in the US, we can help provide a home for a family in need. And Nick did that. And then we actually brought him to Nicaragua, and he got to physically help build the homes. He got to meet the families that he was supporting. And then when he came back, we created, kind of a whole marketing campaign out of it, and you kind of used him as our test subject, and we positioned him as a social good agent, and people loved it, and people were reaching out to him and they wanted to work with him because of it. And they were like, what you're doing is amazing. So since then we've just continued to grow and expand and evolve, and luckily there's now lots of Nicks in the world who want to give back in that same way. And we're actually working with entire brokerages, real estate brokerages, entire real estate companies. And now we're developing entire social impact programs as well. So we've come a long way in 6 years. We're also now supporting affordable housing in the United States, as well as continuing to build homes in Central America. We also started a partnership with Waves for Water. So we are providing water filters to help provide clean water to communities who don't have safe drinking water. And then most recently, we also started helping after natural disasters, which is happening, more and more, it feels like. So we've been able to help agents and families, kind of get back on their feet after, losing almost everything to a natural disaster. So it's a lot. That's kind of where we are right now, though. We're so excited.
Well, you said something, and I kind of want to ask you, you said a social good agent. So break that down. What is that in your world?
What is a social good agent? A social good agent in our world is somebody there's like a triple bottom line. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just focused on your profitability. You also want to have a positive impact in your community or on the other side of the world, whatever it may be. It's having a strategic giving plan, and that aligns with your business plan as well. So
I love it. And how do you help agents? Like, I guess I'm just driving into it. Like, how do you help people create impact? Like the individual agent who's selling 50 homes, who says, I'd like to add this to my business. What does that even look like?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we heard when we were first starting Giveback Homes and kind of doing our research and everything is people want to give back. They want to donate more or volunteer more. They just a lot of times don't know where or how to get started, or they haven't taken the time to really figure it out yet, Right. So what we do is we make it really easy. We make it really streamlined, and we essentially serve it on a silver platter. Like, would you like to give back? Here are a lot of really great programs you can donate to. Here are a lot of great opportunities you can come out and volunteer. Here are a suite of marketing tools and resources that will help you share these stories with your clients and your network and your sphere, so they know exactly what you're doing, and how you can get them to get involved with you as well. So we provide all of those marketing tools and resources and opportunities to our Giveback Homes members.
So it's interesting. Are you guys like part charity, part help them develop the marketing piece of all the good work that you guys would do together? Is that right?
Exactly.
So what are the kind of, I mean, like, how does an agent or a broker or a brokerage even like get involved and like make this a good thing for his business or her business, as well as making a positive impact? Like, what does it look like for them?
So for an agent, in terms of getting involved, you just go to givebackhomes.com and you sign up, and it's pretty simple in terms of that. But then once you sign up, you have access to our team that we help you with, like creating a listing page. We help you with social media graphics. We help you with like a client thank you letter. So when you, close on a transaction, you want to donate, you get to choose the project you want to donate to. And then once you donate, we say, hey, would you like to send a letter to your client saying, thank you for working with Daniel. Because of that, you've helped build a home for a local family in need, or you've helped, build a home for a family in Central America, or you've helped provide clean water to this community. Whichever, you donated to will determine what that messaging is. So we do that. We also help our members organize fundraising events if they want. And then we also help them organize their own team build days where they get to come out and actually help build homes locally. And then they get to invite their clients, their friends, whoever, anybody that they want. So we help with all of that. So that's what we mean by incorporating it into your everyday business, right? Like making it part of your system. Like you close on a transaction, here's the donation, here's the letter, bing, bang, boom, here's the announcement. Like they love it. So that's kind of that's exactly what we're doing and what we're helping our members do.
It seems like you guys are really busy then.
We are. I could probably use a couple virtual assistants or 10.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting because MyOutDesk, we have a charity, we have a nonprofit that we built and to make impact in the world too, because I believe in this. I believe if you're going to make money, you should spend it wisely. I want my kids and I want my legacy to be more than Daniel made some money. So we do this for our clients.
Love that.
Yeah, we do this for our clients, and we think it's an important part of being in business today. What results have you seen for the agents you serve? Like, what do they tell you this does for their business, or having this social impact kind of piece? What does it do for them?
I mean, there's so many examples, but one of the first that comes to mind is Jessica Northrup. She's in Denver, Colorado. She first traveled with us to Nicaragua to help build a home for a family in 2016, and then came back as do every agent. I mean, we've taken over 20 different groups of agents to go physically build homes there. And that experience in itself is so life-changing. Everyone always comes back just inspired and wanting to do more and give back. So for Jessica, she came back and she made it a personal goal for herself that every year she wants to, if she can't make it out to Central America every year, even though she actually is on the mission to do that too, but she wants to fund a complete home for her family in Central America and fund a team build day in Denver, Colorado for her clients. And so far she's done 3 of those, 3 homes. She's on, working on her 4th, and she wants to organize a whole build trip for her brokerage. But she has also gotten so much press and, locally, and she's taken out ads in her magazines. And, she's, every time she goes into a listing appointment, she has like the stories and shows the families and shares those with her clients. And it's so important for her. And it has gotten her a lot of business. And there's so many more stories like that as well too. I mean, like I said, Nick Schneider, the very first agent that we did it with, he got his phone was ringing off like crazy, and he got 5 listings directly from, the ad that he placed in that paper that very first time. So there's a lot of stories like that, but I think the most impactful is, when people come back from those build trips and they're just inspired to do more, and they're, even more committed than they were before.
Yeah, it's amazing. Why did you guys choose to do this in the real estate space? Like, why is that a passion for you, for your organization? to kind of have this social impact in the real estate
It wasn't. We
You're
didn't
like,
have passion for real estate. We had no experience in real estate. Both Blake and I, we're not real estate agents. We didn't have experience in real estate, but you know, before starting Giveback Homes, we used to work for Tom's Shoes, which is the company that for every pair of shoes they sell, they give a pair to a child in need. So we kind of came from that social good world. And then Blake, my partner, was going through the process of buying a home himself for his family. And in working with a real estate agent, Nick Schneider, is kind of where that whole idea, came together. Nick was talking to us about like how he can, incorporate giving into his business. And obviously real estate is in the business of homes. And Blake and I had just traveled to Central America delivering shoes, but we also saw the living conditions of families there. So that's kind of how it all came together. We had no idea what we were getting into with real estate, and it was a lot of learning, but we're happy that we did it.
We're a bunch of crazy guys in the real estate space, So talk to me.
That's what's the best thing about, working in the real estate industry is the real estate agents that we get to work with. I mean, we are very fortunate and lucky that because we have a socially driven company, we are attracting some of the best agents with the biggest hearts, right? And I love that every agent is their own entrepreneur. They hustle, they get shit done. I love watching their business grow. They are so driven personally. And that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it too. What's the financial model? Like if I'm sitting at a listing and I'm telling the sellers, hey, we have this charitable kind of impact thing that we're doing and you'll be a part of that when you list with me.
Mm-hmm.
What's the model? What's the financial model?
Well, the really cool thing about Giveback Homes is that every agent can create that model for themselves. So it's whatever they feel comfortable with. Some agents do a percentage of each closed transaction. Some will do one set amount of each closed transaction. Some wait until the end of the year and make one large donation on behalf of all of their clients. So some of our members will, build a complete home for a family in Central America on behalf of all their clients for that year, for example. So it really just varies. It depends. And so it's totally up to each Giveback Homes member to decide what model works best for them.
You've said Central America a couple times. Is there a particular country or a group of countries that you guys focus on, or?
Yeah, we first started in Nicaragua, and now we're focusing on El Salvador, especially so we have a really great partnership with a company called Concierge Auctions, which is a luxury real estate auction company. And every time they sell a home at auction, they build a complete home for a family in Central America. We've have transformed a community in Nicaragua, and we've transformed 2 communities in El Salvador through the program, which is called Key for Key. So that's a social impact program that we developed with them, and we created it, we manage it. And what's really cool is not only are they funding these homes, which is now over 200 homes, but now they're sending their employees to go physically help build the home. So I take groups of their employees and their staff down there, and they get to experience giving and see the impact that they're making through their work. And that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I bet. What does it cost to build a home in Central America right now?
Anywhere between $4,300 or $3,300 to $5,000 is for a complete home. Yeah.
That's cool. Todd had a question. Who owns the home? Is it given to the people, or do you guys lease it back, or how does that work?
The families own the home, so they own the land that the homes are being built on.
So you're providing labor and the materials for the land that the people already own.
Exactly. Okay. And then when we're supporting affordable housing projects here in the U.S., we work with like Habitat for Humanity, for example. So those families also own the home. They have to put in sweat equity. They do pay a mortgage. They just make sure that it's affordable. It's not beyond 30% of their income. It's a 0% mortgage. So that's all through programs like Habitat for Humanity, which is really great. And then we also work with organizations like Rebuilding Together. We've worked with them often, especially after like Hurricane Harvey in Houston and, those kinds of situations. And in those times, we're helping them rebuild the homes that they they currently own or have, so they can stay in them.
Yeah, it's amazing. What has been, I mean, you've been around for around 6 years. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, we turned 6.
yeah, you just turned 6. What's the biggest challenge of doing this kind of work? What have you learned through the 6 years of like being in this charitable impact space?
That's a good question. I mean, we've learned a lot. I would say, you said, wait, did you say what have we learned, or what's our biggest challenge? What was the question?
Both. I've got 2 questions, I guess.
Okay. I mean, I guess one of the biggest things that we continue to strive for, that we learn, is to just keep things as simple as possible and as tangible as possible. And, by doing that, you're going to give people a sense of, what they're donating to. We always just want to make sure, want to be completely transparent about what their donated dollars are going to, where that project, where those dollars are going to, and what that project is going to do, and what the impact on the family will be. So I think that's definitely one of the things that we've learned, is just to continue trying to simplify messaging and all that sort of stuff. And
It's
then
the old KISS model, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Like,
yeah,
it works in this world as any other business.
exactly. I think so.
What's your biggest challenge then? That was the other question.
I think the biggest challenge for us lately, or just in general, I guess, has just been trying to inspire people to think bigger when it comes to giving, or not just people, but companies, right? It's like, you talk to a lot of head of companies or HR or the head of philanthropy or whoever, and they're like, oh, well, we already do this, and it's like, that's awesome. Like, everyone should already have a giving program or some sort of donating or volunteer one day a year kind of a thing, right? But how do you get better? How do you improve on that? Why don't you think bigger about like how to make that grow and how to make it more impactful? So I think the challenge is, like, a lot of people think of giving as just like a checkbox, like, oh, well, we already do it, we're fine. But I think one of the challenges is like, but how do you do it? Like, let us help you do it better. Let us help you do it in a way that inspires others to do more and to give back and to get more involved. So yeah.
One of the challenging things, a reason that we started our own charity, is that because most charities take a percentage in like overhead, and we wanted to give 100% of our charitable donations to the people who actually need it and make an impact.
Right.
So we measure it by lives impacted, dollars donated, and time invested. And I don't know if that's right or not, but Caroline, how do you feel about that measurement? I'm just kind of curious.
I think that's really smart. I mean, I think it's really great that you have modeled it in a way so that you can give 100% of all of your donations. That's what we do at Giveback Homes as well too. We have 2 different channels, so that we're completely transparent about all of that. And so, that's part of a sustainable giving model, is that you don't have to, rely on donations and taking, more than 40% of a donation to pay for your operating costs. So I think it's brilliant.
And there we go. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so how would a person, like, what's the first step to getting involved in this? And should a real estate person like test it on a client, or how do you get started in this process if somebody wanted to move forward and do an impact model?
Yeah, so you would sign up at givebackhomes.com, and then we would essentially send you Corey, who's our marketing manager. She will work with you directly to help you with your plan. So in terms of like making an announcement, either in an e-blast or social media, writing the copy for all of that, explaining to your clients that you have joined this social good movement and what that means and how you're going to incorporate it. So again, going back to like creating that model, like we will either help you, or unless you already know, like, what do you want to do? Like, after each closed transaction, do you want to just donate monthly? Do you want to donate at the end of the year? Like, how do we structure that for you? And then once you have that, then, you know, we can even help with like writing a press release announcement, or if your goal is to do like a team build day, then we help you with that as well. And that's part of your announcement. And then that's kind of how you start to get, you know, the traction and the attention and get the awareness out there. And then after you close a deal, or even when you go into a listing appointment, like you start putting it into that process as well too.
How about the dollar? I mean, is it a write-off for a real estate broker when they give? Are you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% tax deductible donations.
Okay.
Yep. And if you go to our like website, there's the tab that says projects, and you can see all the different projects. And we've partnered with over 20 different, you know, cities across the U.S. So there should be one close to you. And if not, then, you know, we can reach out and see if it's something, you know, an area that we want to start a new project in.
Caroline says there's no excuses, guys. If you're not already doing a give back program, she's saying let's go.
Yes.
I had a couple more questions. Like, what's normal for? Is it a percentage of? And this was a question from Todd Wilson. He said, "What's the average dollar or amount per transaction that an agent gives, and like, what's the average percentage?"
I would say anywhere from $50 to from a closed transaction to $300 to sometimes, like I said, people will build a complete home. So that's up to $5,000, or do a complete team build day, which is also on average between 5 to 7, sometimes 10, depending on the market. So it's all across the board. It's interesting because that's that's such a frequently asked question. And I've been trying to get to the root of that question. It's like people want to know what the average, you know, donation from other people are. But I think the answer is just whatever you feel comfortable with, or if you are already in a place where you donate an X amount of dollars after each closed transaction, push yourself maybe to go a little bit higher than that, maybe this year. You know, I think the more you give before you are, you know, in a place to, I just think that it'll end up coming back to you for sure. Like, just continue to push yourself in that sense as well too.
Well, and I'll just answer, Todd, from our perspective, we try to give 1 to 3% of our net profit per year. And I don't know if that's a good number or not, but it just feels like that's the amount that we can kind of input and make impact. And then we also include our clients in that giving. So many of our clients are also kind of contributing to our charity. So so that number gets juiced a little bit. Caroline, what in your experience, like, you know, there's millions of real estate people. Like, there's lots of us, right? How unique is it for an agent to have a program like this? Is it a very unique thing, or is it becoming more normal? Like, give us an idea of what the market looks like. Am I going to go on a listing appointment and everybody's giving back in their presentation, or?
I hope so.
You're like, yes.
I mean, I think as real estate agents, you know, they've always been kind of community leaders, right? They always have to be like very much involved in their community, which oftentimes means like donating to every, you know, single community event or charity or cause that they have going on. You know, they sponsor little league teams or like do all that sort of stuff. So I think that is and has been very popular because that's how they network and, you know, become a member of the community. But from a strategic, you know, bigger picture kind of standpoint, especially with the need for affordable housing just becoming more and more of a crisis and more of like, you know, this is a big deal, and the real estate industry should be involved in the solution now more than ever, right? So I think from that standpoint, it's still not very common. So that's why there's a huge opportunity there as well too.
Yep, you can lead your community and your network and the people that you know by doing something positive in the world. Probably feels really good too, right? What's it like to lead these people, you know, internationally and build a home for you? Like, what does that feel like?
Oh my God, it's so amazing. I hope you get to come one day, because it really is like my favorite part of what we get to do day after day, is taking people and, you know, taking people to a country they've probably never considered really going or never really imagined themselves visiting to help a family they've never met before, who will never be able to, really repay them or anything like, you know what I mean? Like, it really is something that I wish more companies would,
Embrace.
would embrace. Yeah. And, like I mentioned, this company Concierge, who is, paying for these employees to go experience this. And if I think back to the root of when Blake and I first started, or even before Giveback Homes, the whole reason that we were sparked and inspired to do something like this is because our company at the time, Tom's, paid for us to go on a trip like that. You know what I mean? So it's very cool that we can now provide that to so many people who are willing to come, and I highly recommend it.
I bet you those companies that have these kind of involved social kind of impact kind of campaigns and events, I bet you they have better retention and more engaged.
Oh yeah.
Like, what have you seen in that space?
I mean, people, like I said, people come back and they're just completely changed, and it allows you to have, it gives you a little bit more purpose in your everyday work. You're dealing with a lot of, as real estate agents, deal with a lot of characters. I guess some crazier than others, some more demanding than others. So it kind of helps you stay grounded and stay and add purpose into the work that you're doing every day.
And do you actually like physically build these houses yourself? Like, are you out there with a block and you're putting it on and all that?
We like physically are building these homes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard work. I mean, it is, and it's hot and it's humid and people are like digging holes for like hours at a time. But you really get connected with humanity again, and you get to make connections with the families that you're building alongside the families right there. They're helping you as well too. So that's really cool to watch and witness this, even without knowing the same language, they're communicating with and being so generous and welcoming of us into their future homes. It's a really beautiful experience.
Anybody ever take their kids or like spouses on these trips, and what is that like for them?
We haven't had anything like that yet. I mean, our trips get filled up pretty quickly. Like when we announce we have a trip coming up, our next one's in November. So far it's just been all real estate professionals or somebody in the real estate space. We haven't had anybody bring kids or spouses as of yet, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. One of the first trips we had was like Madison Hildebrand came with us to Nicaragua and built a home on one of our first trips. Like I said, Jessica Northrup, who's in Denver now, Laura Brady and Chad Roffers, they're like the president and chairman of the Concierge Auctions company. They came with us. So yeah, I think you just got to come.
I love it. All right. Well, Caroline, this has been awesome. Again, it's givebackhomes.com if you'd like to kind of go deeper and find out more information about putting this. But what would you leave our audience with today? Like brass tacks, what's your sum of all this stuff?
What do we like? I would say that I am extremely proud and happy with what we've been able to accomplish with Giveback Homes. And it's all thanks to our real estate agent members and our real estate partners. And so I'm very grateful for all of them. And I look forward to welcoming more into the Giveback Homes movement after this conversation.
Yeah. Well, Caroline, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate you. Love what you guys are doing. And I think we should work together. MyOutDesk.
Yes, thank you.
All right, have a great day. Guys, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. We know how important it is and valuable it is.
Bye.
Yes, she's going to dance on the outro. She's going to do a little bit of dance. This is fun, man.